Hi, I'm Tom Hendrickson from the DevOps Online Summit, and welcome to our keynote interview with Niladri Choudhuri. Niladri, introduce yourself to the people here at the DevOps Online Summit.
Thanks, Tom. I am Niladri Choudhuri, CEO of Accelerator India and Singapore. I'm also the chief organizer for the largest DevOps event from India, DevOps India Summit. And I have 31 years of experience as consultant in the IT industry, a DevSecOps and SRE evangelist, and a speaker in global events. I conduct podcasts, panel discussions, and talk with the top global DevOps and SRE practitioners and IT leaders. I've helped in my career many Fortune 500 companies in improving their ways of working through consulting engagements. I've conducted assessments on various areas like project and portfolio management, DevOps, and SRE.
Excellent. We're glad to have you back, Niladri. So, to start us off, though, your title of your session is Adopting to the Industry Infinity Different Way of Working. So, tell us, what do you mean by that, Niladri?
Sure. Yeah, so industry infinity, that's the word. So the idea came to me in terms of that we hear a lot of people talking about industry 4.0, right? And what I have also seen is nobody really understands, or many of the people do not even understand what is industry 4.0. So when I hear Carlota Perez, I see that she's mentioning about the industrial revolution that is caused by the socioeconomic needs and how the socioeconomic need leads to the change in the technology. And then the technology changes the socioeconomic needs. So we are in the middle of industrial revolution 4.0, which is into AI, IoT, ML, data science. The question here is not about industry 3.0, 4.0, or 5.0, or 6.0. The point is there is a lot of change that is going to come. And we have to be adapting to the change. We need changes to be delivered faster, and hence every organization needs to adapt to the change and deliver faster with quality and secure. Because with more and more AI, ML, and other things being used, with IoTs and devices being used, you have bring your own device and all these things, more and more security breaches are going to be expected. So we need the systems to be secure. This needs to change our way of working. This needs to change in three areas: people, technology, and practices. And that's what I'm going to talk about in my session. That how organizations need to be ready for any change that comes, not just industry 4.0. And that's why industry infinity.
Yeah, excellent. So, to kind of start us off, Niladri, where would we start to adopt an industry infinity practice?
Great question. So, first of all, we need to understand and acknowledge that we cannot continue the way of working which we are used to. There was a particular need, there was a situation which we have adhered to, there was not so much of changes that were coming, the expectations of the customer was different. We were looking at IT as a cost center, and if you remember the olden days, or for that matter even up to till now, there are many organizations where you have that IT is reporting to the finance. So it's predominantly was cost center, but today it is not that. IT is business. Every small business, whatever small it is, even the people who are selling by the roadside, they are looking at payment gateways. So everybody is using business. So business, everybody is using IT for business. So IT is no longer something separate. IT is business. And we have to acknowledge that, we have to recognize that. And when IT is so important, like your finance, like your HR, like your legal, it cannot be separate. And that's where we need to treat IT like that. And it has to work collaboratively with the business. So we have to change it to adapt more and more changes that is going to come and the speed at which we are expected to deliver. What is also important is the resilience, because business, a small outage is loss of money. Actually, it is more important to look at making sure that the systems are resilient, making sure that there is less and less outage, rather than trying to bring in more features. I mean, Microsoft already has some white papers. It has been proven that only one third of the features that goes out are something which customers feel happy about. So that's only 33%. There are 33% more where customers are neither happy or sad. And there is 33% more where makes customers unhappy. So are we going to focus on the probability of 33%, or are we going to focus on the probability of 100% which is causing the outage? As per Gartner, at the minimum, 1 hour of outage costs $140,000.
Wow.
On an average, it is $300,000, and at the maximum, it goes to $540,000. That is because of the different types of business. What Amazon will lose in a minute is much more than what maybe my business will lose in a minute. So we need to look at it from that point of view, and we have to focus on that. So to start adapting, we need two-pronged approach. The first is to find out new ways of working. So upskilling is a good area to start. Knowledge, gaining more knowledge is important. And that's where we need to have people to learn DevOps, SRE concepts, new technologies, and they need to try out new things. So if you are going from your home to your office every day taking the same route, how will you know if there is a better route or not if you don't venture out? And today, what is a good route, tomorrow that may be closed because of some construction or whatever, or maybe an accident. So you anyway need to know the other route. So experimentation and learning is important. The second of the two-pronged approach is to understand where we are. So, like when you use a Google map, what do? First, you give the destination. That is your target, your vision, what you want to achieve. But can you start without giving the next information? Where are you? And that's what is important. I picked it up from somebody who mentioned this in a speech, and I liked it. I mean, this analogy. So we need to understand where we are. So we need to do an assessment of where we are in terms of what we are doing. You can look at it from a DevOps SRE assessment or whatever. That will give you the idea of where we are. And then identifying some of the value streams to look into the details. We cannot change the whole organization together. We have to do it in smaller steps. So that's where we need to start. And then the VSM, the value stream management that we do with those areas and keep improving, measuring it. That is what it is important. So prioritization becomes very, very important, not doing everything together at the same time and disrupting the whole business.
That kind of back to those lean basics of work in progress, isn't it, Niladri?
Yes, absolutely.
You can't juggle so much. So what types of roadblocks might, an organization or a company encounter as we kind of are making this shift?
Oh, that will be interesting. Because the first and the biggest or the most common challenge area or the roadblock will be the culture and changing the culture, changing the people's mindset. We are always comfortable in our comfort zone. We don't want to get out of it. And that's where the leaders come into play, where they have to push the people to challenge their status quo and make them move. So process and technology can be managed, but changing the mindset will be a huge, huge task. And it's not easy, it's not going to be fast. So organization change management will play a very, very key role here. People will resist to change. We need to understand and accept that there will be a loss of productivity, there will be missing commitments, there will be spending of a large amount of budget in training and tools and so on at the beginning. So leaders have to accept that. They cannot think that I'll send a memo today and in 3 months my organization will be changed. No, it doesn't happen that way. No magic wand. So, so everyone in the value stream, once they start getting used to the new ways, is when things will start improving. And senior management's active role is going to be crucial in that. So that is the first challenge. The second challenge that is there is about technology. We think that technology is great, but we also have technology brings challenges also. Now, every day new tools are coming up. Every day some new startup is bringing a new tool. People takes time to learn. You cannot expect every day everyone will know new things. There is an investment when people are learning. So it is getting difficult to keep up with the learning pace. On one side, the customers wants that their new whatever is coming out, that solution should be on the latest technology. But can you, from the solution provider side, is it really possible? So there has to be upskilling and cross-skilling. That becomes very, very important. More focus has to be given on hypothesis-based experimentation. Because if we do not try out new things, we are not going to see whether it is fits or not. We have never learned driving or riding a bike by going to a library or watching YouTube videos. So even collaborating with the customer for a month or two to prove a hypothesis to solve a business problem will be helpful. So a lot of focus needs to be given on the refactoring of technical debts, which is again a challenge. We are so busy with delivering our work, our commitments, that we don't really spend much of time. However, more we talk about the different agile and other frameworks, we need to spend time. If we do not do that, we are not going to change. So architecture, refactoring of technical debts in terms of architecture, in terms of software, in terms of even the infrastructure architecture, all has to change. Many organizations are still stuck with the legacy systems. Is it a problem of technology? No. Is it? People gives excuses that, oh, we don't know, we don't have any documentation and all. Great, but someday it will break, right? Whether it is today or whether it is after 10 years. The only thing which I feel that is stopping from organization to move from these legacy systems is people's mindset. Nobody wants to take that leap of faith to move forward. So this also ties to the mindset which is stopping people from moving out of these legacy systems. So that is the second challenge which is there, which is technology. So while customer is wanting more new technology, it is difficult for service providers to keep upgrading themselves to new one, but we still have to do that. And the third challenge is in the area of practices. So we have people, we have technology and practices. We need to start making changes to various areas of how we operate. We need to look at the small a and the small t. That means we need to be agile and not do agile. We need to be not doing a big bang transformation, but we need to make a small t, which is an evolutionary transformation. Keep improving in smaller chunks. So we need to move from individual based to team based appraisal. We need to have one shared objective and thus move from the project to product approach. The incentive for each one in the team has to be same. You cannot have a different incentive for a developer, a different incentive for a tester, a different incentive for a security SM. We need to start looking at products as a service. Products no longer are products. So earlier we had seen service to product. Now we are moving products to service. And there needs to be a customized mass production. Earlier we went to mass production, right? Now we are talking about customized mass production. If you look at a system, a banking system, now the same banking system, most probably you go there as a individual savings account holder. So your way of operating or interacting with that is different than the way that I interact as a corporate user. So the same system, but the interaction is different for the different personas of business. We need to understand that and be have looking at the improvement of the user experience throughout the journey for each type of personas. So there is a customized mass production that we need, and we need to move from internationalization to globalization. Locally shaped can be used across the globe. That is what are the three main challenges which I feel is going to be there.
So, Niladri, I guess one last thing, as you see this change and business go through this kind of transformation, how do you see this change affecting business in the future?
So, first thing is that if the organization is not getting themselves ready to adapt to these changes, whatever change that comes in, they are going to be dead. They will not survive because whoever is able to adapt, whoever is able to learn and take actions accordingly, they are going to outsmart them. If we have already seen that, right? In a Dow Jones, the founder like GE, it took 111 years for GE to be out of that list. But today, the average age of any organization in a list like that is 20 years and falling. And it's not the big organizations getting replaced by another big organization, but more with a smaller startup.
Mm-hmm.
So that nimbleness, that flexibility, that adaptability to change, that agility is what is going to be the main key difference. So we will see a lot of focus on upskilling and cross-skilling. Team structures will change, more proper adoption of agile, the small a, and evolutionary transformation, that is the small t. Security will be everyone's responsibility because with more and more digitalization and use of IoT and other things, security will be a very, very critical piece of the whole thing, which is not there today still. More focus on co-creation of value and value stream management. Fresh data will be more and more used for decision making and not what we have done in some other project based on that. What I also see is that because of this need for the fresh data, the current data to be used for decision making, observability will be very critical and it will expand. This also needs us to have one more area to be changed because we use a lot of suppliers, vendors. So we need contracts will be different and commercial models will have to be more innovative to bring better collaboration between vendor and customer and between multiple vendors. So that is what I see as what is going to change the way the business will be running.
Niladri, thanks for coming on. Any closing thoughts?
Sure, thanks. So both customer and suppliers need to start making changes so that their people, technology, and practices are suitable to adapt to the changes that is going to come in future. Some are known unknowns, some are unknown unknowns. So we have to be ready for that unknown unknowns. So start getting out of the comfort zone, the current way of working, focus on training and experimentation. It is a journey of continuous learning, experimentation, and improvement. Keep improving with proper measurement.
Thanks for coming on, Niladri.
Thank you, Tom.
On behalf of Niladri Choudhuri, I am Tom Henriksen for the DevOps Online Summit.